This story starts from a jail in Colorado, and in this jail, we see a prisoner named Ray. Here, a fellow prisoner informs Ray that another prisoner named Jax is going to attack him. The next day, when Ray was in the backyard of the jail, Jax attacked him. However, in this fight, Ray hit Jax hard and he beat him like a dog. But because of this beating, the jail guards caught Ray and locked him in a secret chamber of the jail. This was the part of the jail where the most dangerous prisoners were kept, and the jail guards guarded these prisoners for 24 hours. Now, the room in which Ray was kept was completely packed, and the door of this room also opened with a password. Ray came in and started planning to escape from this jail. During this time, he found out that there is a garage of the jail just below this room, and there is a fire extinguisher in this garage. Ray remained locked in this room for the next few days, and during this time, he observed the daily routine of the guards very carefully. He noticed that the guards go to the roof of the jail to blow smoke, and it takes them 7 minutes to come back. Ray decided that he will escape from this jail in these 7 minutes. Now, his next task was to find out the password on the gate of this room. For this, he used a packet of milk that comes with food. He removed a plastic sheet from the packet and stuck it on the password keypad. Soon, he got the password numbers, and arranging these numbers in the right order was not a big deal for Ray. One day, when the guards went to the roof to blow smoke, Ray came out of his room and sent his message to his team sitting outside. Ray told his team to come to the jail at 4 o'clock in the evening and distract all the guards. According to the plan, Ray's team reached near the jail, and as soon as it was 4 o'clock in the evening, they made a huge explosion. Now, because of this explosion, everyone's attention was distracted and everyone started running here and there. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Ray came out of his room and reached the garage of the jail through the AC vents. After this, the fire brigade of the jail came out to put out the fire, and Ray also came out of the jail by hanging under his car. Outside the jail, his teammates came to pick him up, whose name was Hush and Abigail. However, Ray did not run far from this jail and the police caught him again. But then a man named Lester came there and told the police to let Ray go. After this, Ray and Lester go back to the same jail and meet the head of this jail. And now it is clear that Ray is not a criminal but a businessman. Ray is the owner of a security company and his job is to check the security of the jail. He enters the jail as a prisoner and tries to escape from the jail. After escaping from the jail, he guesses the shortcomings of the security and then removes those shortcomings. In simple words, Ray is such a man who works to make the jails more secure, and there is no such jail where Ray could not escape. The next day, when Ray went to his office, his business partner Lester introduced him to a lady. This lady's name was Jessica and this lady worked for the CIA. Jessica wanted Ray to check the security of a top-secret jail, but the condition is that his colleagues will not be given any information about this jail. Although Ray did not like this, but when Lester convinced him, he agreed to do this job. After this, Ray was identified as a Spanish terrorist named Anthony. Here his team put a GPS tracker in his body and gave him an emergency code, so that if he could not escape from the jail, he could tell the head of the jail this code and get out of there. Now Ray's work started and soon some people kidnapped him. They made him unconscious and removed the tracker from his body, so that his team could not find out the location of the jail. Many hours later, when Ray woke up, he found himself trapped in a glass chamber. There were many more prisoners around him who were trapped in this chamber. After a while, Ray met the head of this jail and he told his name as Hobbs. Now Ray was a little surprised to hear this name because he was told that the name of the head of this jail would be Marsh. Now Ray felt something wrong, so he said his emergency code, but the prison warden ignored his code and left. Anyway, Ray's team was trying to find out his location, but it was of no use, because the people of the jail had removed the tracker from Ray's body. Here in the jail, Ray notices that all the guards here are wearing the same kind of clothes and the same mask, and whenever they feel like, they beat any prisoner. Meanwhile, he meets a prisoner named Emil, and Emil reaches out to Ray for friendship. Emil tells Ray that he has not committed any crime, and he has been kept in this jail because some people want to get his boss's address from him. Emil's boss's name was Mannheim, who was a very dangerous gangster, and the police all over the world were looking for Mannheim. Now that Emil was his right hand, they caught him. Here Ray realized that this place is not really a jail. This is a torture center, where rich and powerful people send their enemies to torture them. Now Ray wanted to know more about this jail, so he made a plan. He pretended to fight with Emil and attracted the attention of the guards. Seeing them fighting, the guards separated them and locked them in a small chamber. There were bright bulbs in this chamber whose temperature was so high that no one could bear it. There were also cameras in these chambers, with the help of which the jail warden was watching them. They were locked in this room for several hours, and when their punishment was over, a doctor came to meet them. When the doctor saw Ray's condition, he felt very sorry for him. But when Ray asked him about the location of the jail, the doctor did not tell him anything. When Ray came out of this room, he told Emil that the floor of that room is made of steel, not aluminium, and there are nut bolts on all 4 corners of the floor. Here Ray asked Emil to bring a piece of metal so that he could remove those nut bolts. After a while, the jail warden called Emil to himself and asked him about his boss Mannheim. But like every time, Emil did not tell him anything and kept his mouth shut. In anger, he beat Emil a lot and tortured him badly. But in the meantime, Emil managed to steal a piece of metal. When he came out, he asked Ray about his plan. Here Ray told Emil that looking at the structure of this jail, it looks like this jail is made under the ground. Ray's plan was that he would try to open the nut bolt and reach the surface, and if he finds a way, they will escape from here. Emil also believed Ray's words and he gave him that piece of metal. Now they had to go back to that torture room, so they started fighting again. Their plan worked and they were put in that chamber. Here Ray started opening the nut bolts of the floor secretly from the camera. Now that the job was done, he gave the signal to Emil, and Emil started screaming loudly and drawing the attention of the guards towards him. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Ray blocked his camera and opened the floor and jumped down. After that, he started climbing up with the help of pipes. But in the meantime, a pipe broke from him and water started flowing all around. But Ray somehow reached the surface, and looking at the view above, his eyes were teary. He saw that this jail is not on any land, but on a large water ship. When the pipe broke, all the guards became alert. And seeing this, Ray also came back to his chamber quickly. There, outside the jail, Abigail and Hush went to Lester and informed him that Ray was missing. They told him that Ray has no whereabouts and the check he got for this job has also bounced. And that lady is also missing somewhere who gave him this job. Abigail and Hush were sure that Ray was in some trouble. But Lester said that Ray is an expert in his job and no jail in the world can imprison him. But as soon as Abigail and Hush left, he called the jail warden and told him to keep Ray in the same jail for the rest of his life. And now it is clear that Lester had intentionally imprisoned Ray in that jail so that he could become the sole owner of this company. However, Abigail and Hush did not give up and kept looking for Ray. Meanwhile, Hush was informed about an illegal jail called Tomb where rich people send their enemies to torture them. But no one knows where this jail is. Here in the jail, Ray and Emil had to find out where their ship is in the world so that they can call their team for help. The next day, Ray met the jail doctor and asked him about the location of the jail. But this time too, the doctor did not help him. On the way, Ray stole a piece of cardboard so that he could make a device called sextant from it. Sextant is a device used by people on the ship to find their location. To use this device, they have to reach the surface of the ship, and for this work, they asked for help from a Muslim prisoner named Javed. After a while, Javed met the warden of the jail and gave him a false offer to become a spy, and in return, he asked permission to pray under the open sky. Now the warden was unaware of Javed's real intentions, so he accepted this offer. That night, Javed went aboard the ship and with the help of that device, he found out the location of the ship. Now after a little calculation, they found out that this ship is near Morocco in the Atlantic Ocean. Here Emil tells everyone that he has a very old friend who lives in Morocco, and if he sends his message to him, he will definitely come to save him. Now Ray also liked this idea and he went to see the doctor again. This time, the doctor was also ready to help him, and he emailed Emil's friend and told him the location of the jail and the time to escape. Finally, the day came when they were all going to be free from this jail. Here Javed went to the warden and gave him false news that there was going to be a big fight in the jail canteen today. As soon as he heard this, the warden sent all the guards to the jail canteen. And the stairs that went up to the top of the ship, there were only 2 guards left. Here Ray started fighting in the canteen as soon as he got a chance. And as soon as he saw, all the prisoners started fighting each other. Now taking advantage of this chaos, Ray, Emil, and Javed came out of the canteen. They reached the stairs and killed the guards and took their guns from them. After this, they grabbed the stairs and started climbing up quickly. But unfortunately, the warden saw them and put a lockdown on the whole ship. Due to this lockdown, all the doors of the ship were locked and they could not reach the surface. Now they had no other choice, so they had to come down again. Meanwhile, Emil's people also reached the ship, but these 3 had no whereabouts. Then the ship's guards saw them running and there was a fierce firing inside the ship. In this firing, 1 bullet hit Javed and he was badly injured. Now seeing the deteriorating situation, Ray again put his mind to it. He made a plan that he would go to the control room of the ship and cut off the electricity of the whole ship. By doing this, all the doors will open again and they will all be able to reach the top. He told Emil to take care of Javed and went to the control room himself. Now Javed's condition was also deteriorating and he knew that his life would not be spared. So he also told Emil to go ahead. Now Emil did not want to do this, but still he had to leave Javed. Here Ray also reached the control room and cut off the electricity of the ship. By doing this, all the doors opened again and Emil reached the surface. Soon the guards also reached the top and started firing at Emil. Here Emil also stood still and killed each guard. Here Javed also fought the guards, but unfortunately he could not survive. After Javed, the guards started looking for Ray. To save himself from them, Ray hid himself in a water tanker. But then the electricity of the ship came back and started filling water in the tanker. Here the warden also found out that Ray was hiding in the water tanker. But before he could do anything, Ray pushed himself out of the ship. The number of guards on the surface also increased a lot, so Emil also had to leave there. But then he saw Ray, who was drowning in the water. He threw a ladder for Ray, and Ray also hung on this ladder. After this, they fired at the ship and blasted the oil tanks on it. In this explosion, all the guards were killed and they both left. After a while, they reached the shore of the sea and a big car came to pick them up. And no one else but Jessica got off this car. Now when Ray saw Jessica, he was completely surprised. She was the same girl who sent Ray to check the security of this jail. Here it is revealed that Jessica is actually Emil's daughter, and she sent Ray to jail so that he could get his father out of there. But the bigger twist was that Emil is Mannheim. Everyone thought he was Mannheim's right-hand man, when he turned out to be Mannheim himself. He had hidden his identity so that he could save himself from his enemies. Here Jessica told Ray all the truth about Lester, that how he wanted to be the sole owner of the company. After a few days, Ray met his friends and told them all the truth about Lester. Here when Lester found out that Ray has escaped from that jail, he also decided to leave the country. But as soon as he sat in his car, Ash made him unconscious. When Lester woke up, he was still in his car. But his car was inside a big container, and this container was on a big ship among thousands of containers. And no one knows where this ship is going. And with this suspense, this great movie ends here. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.